Hello. It's Monday, May 25th. I'm Professor X. I'm here with issue 169 of the Me Too Yay News. Today we got a lot of interesting stuff going on. In our global section, we have a lot of protests happening in Serbia. There's tens of thousands of people protesting. They appear to be Gen Z inspired. They're contesting corruption in the government. It's getting pretty aggressive out there between police forces and the protesters, so it's worth checking out. In Slovenia, there's a new prime minister. That prime minister is super pro-Israel. So we'll see how his tenure plays out in terms of his regime. The Taliban are continuing to enact horrific laws. In this case, there's quasi-codifying child marriage and kind of another we'll say regressive act here. So the Taliban out there in Afghanistan are continuing to do what they do. Senegal has dissolved the government. The president has dissolved the government. They have some funding issues. The IMF is quite concerned about the happenings there in terms of what's going on with the government. So that's worth checking out. In our national section, we have the peace deal continuing to kind of evolve. There's some Republicans, the war hawks, those people that would be never satisfied if there's not war. They're upset with the inching towards some type of peace deal. Allegedly, Iran has agreed to some non-nuclear proliferation, things of this nature, and Israel continues to bomb heavily in Lebanon despite the Trump administration trying to tenuously get towards this peace deal. Also, we have some changes to green card policy. So there's a shift now that green cards need to be applied for abroad instead of here, and you need to apply at a consulate abroad. So that's going on. Some interesting stuff there policy-wise. The SEC delayed its plan to let crypto firms trade tokenized stocks like crypto coins. We would like to see that go forth. We kind of have this pro blockchain, pro crypto ethos that we harbor on all the time. But the SEC has delayed that, so that's what's going on there. In the HHS, Healthy Human Services has launched an AI program to help root out Medicaid fraud. So that's interesting just to watch AI get implemented in government. So we'll see how that all plays out. In New York, they finally got a budget. So they got a budget for 2027. Kathy Hochul and all them, they worked that out. So take a look at that. The budget has some new priorities. Pennsylvania is going to return the unclaimed property to owners that they have recovered, so those checks will be coming out. We love to see the money go back to the people. Massachusetts, the rideshare drivers in Massachusetts have launched a unionization effort. So there was some legislation that allowed them to move forward with that unionization effort. So that's going to be fascinating because the whole gig economy is kind of built on atomistic workers that don't unionize. They don't have some type of collective bargaining. But that's shifting there. And then in Philadelphia, they're trying to get an automatic savings program for workers without 401k plans. In theory, it's great, right? It allows everyone to retire. We'll see how that works out. Quite skeptical about the implementation, but it's a great idea. So Philadelphia is the first major city with a plan like that. The markets we suggest you should watch are the Clarity Act, right? The Polymarket has a Clarity Act market that about when will that get signed into law in 2026 is currently sitting at 54%. The Serbian parliamentary election I think is worth watching given today's news. It dropped dramatically. It's now at 49%. Will it be called before 2027? A U.S.-Iran permanent cease deal has tipped up to 71%, so that's on the rise here. And our song of the day is from AZ. It's called Uniqueness. So shout out to AZ. I've been seeing a lot of AZ interviews. He's a great rapper, one of the best ever. Shout out to AZ out there in New York. But that's worth checking out. That's what we have for today. Take a look at the newsletter. The link is in the description. I will see you all tomorrow.